continuing.
For more on this story, we're now joined live by Christoph Hörstel, the Managing Director of Hörstel Networks, Government and Business Consulting. Thank you for taking the time to join us. Now, up until today, the anger of masses was directed at the diplomatic missions of the United States. Why are Germany embassies now being targeted?
Yeah, that's astonishing for me, too. I think it is astonishing to all of Germany, especially to the administration. I think Germany is not yet up to, facing this kind of attack, which is usually, hurting U.S. embassies or British, French embassies, because they are protagonists in recent aggressive NATO politics. But Germany is new to the club. And that means, our security, our embassy security system is not yet up to our foreign policy. And recently we had a right-wingers demonstration in Germany last month with people carrying, transparent pictures, caricatures of the Prophet Muhammad, ridiculing him. That was noticed in Sudan. And then also we had very clearly our Chancellor Merkel last year giving a prize to the Danish artist who
Christoph,
had...
you brought up the Prophet Muhammad. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I wanted to ask you in reference to that, do you think the German reaction will be similar to what we've heard from Washington, which has been trying to distance itself from the film?
Well, our foreign minister has given a radioed statement this morning, and he has very strongly, I was astonished, he has very strongly condemned the movie. I have looked at it for 3 minutes, then I couldn't stand it anymore. It's a primitive, as the foreign minister, Mr. Westerwelle, has said, it's rude and crude, it's anti-Islamic, it's a bad movie, and he near to apologized for this. He didn't do it, but it was very close to that, for this rude movie, and he said it must hurt Muslim feelings, and he's not at all positive on this movie, but also he said I'm not positive either on violence, so the violence has to stop, and the movie is a bad movie. That was his line.
Now, what about the fact that Berlin managed to order the evacuation of its diplomatic staff well in advance? I mean, how did Germany manage to predict such events?
Well, there is no evacuation. It is simply Friday today, and the embassy is empty, as all embassies are on Fridays in Muslim countries. For that reason, there was not much staff on the ground. Usually, some door guards or something like this, and the embassies are usually yawningly empty. And
all right. Well, then I guess it's just happened to be coincidence. What do you think Islamist protesters are trying to achieve through this targeted violence?
Well, they want to make sure that in Western countries their protest is being understood and heard and listened to, because they have the feeling there's a lot of hurting Muslim feelings without anybody taking real notice in these countries where these injuries come from, so where they originate, understanding why the Muslims are so offended, and that is something I must say that is correct. We have a lot of anti-Islamic, propaganda by our leading media, and Islam is being depicted as a brutal religion where the Muslims are not ready, to get along well with Christians, which is all not true. Muslims notice that this is being done, this kind of anti-Islamic propaganda, and for that reason, we have a heating up of emotions. That is quite clear.
Now, Christoph, what do you think is the future of Western diplomatic missions in the Middle East from now on?
Well, we are at a crossroads right now. NATO is at a crossroads. A group of countries I call NATO mafia is attacking Syria. They are thinking of new ways how to attack because the former stuff was not very successful. Iran is under constant threat, especially from Israel. We have all kinds of, Israel intrusions into U.S. Election campaign from Netanyahu. So we have a difficult situation of Western embassies all around the Middle East and Northern Africa. And that is, of course, something very difficult. I don't think the situation will improve over the next months and years.
All right. Live from Potsdam, Christoph Hörstel, the Managing Director of Hörstel Networks, Government and Business Consulting. Thank you for your time.